Assalamu alaikum, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Khalid Bhatti and I'm your host from Brisbane, Australia. As you know, everyone in the world is struggling with COVID 19. Now, we have got a person from Brisbane, Australia named James Wedderburn. We're going to ask him how he's dealing with that. Hi, James. Welcome to our show. You're live on News and Views. How's going?
Hi, Khalid. Thanks for having me on your show. It's
So,
great. I'm doing
how
well.
you dealing with COVID-19? The whole world is struggling. So are you struggling too? Is it impacting you as well?
I think it is because every day is pretty much the same routine, and I feel that I'm being restricted by the government in where I can go and what I can do because essentially I feel like I'm under house arrest, and all I can
Well,
do is go to
don't
the
you think so?
supermarket.
This is not only you, the whole world is going to the same circumstances.
I think possibly a lot of people are getting sick of being at home every day. Yes, but some people like it. Others don't. I think I'm naturally an introverted person, so I do like staying at home. But I do feel that I would like to go out sometimes and to maybe go get something to eat at a restaurant or something, or go to the gym, which are
No,
both
I
closed now.
understand. I can understand your frustration. I can understand you're a free person and you want to go outside, you want to go to gym, you want to go to restaurants, you want to go to work. And this is basically the quarantine position. But state got a no choice as well because this is what the social distancing is required. So if they just let everybody do what they want or what they used to do, then it's not going to help towards the society.
You know what, mate? I I tend to know that's the mainstream narrative that this COVID-19's out there and there's an imaginary monster coming to get us all. But when I've done some digging into this, and I feel that, to be honest, I don't feel that it's actually true. But I mean, that's the narrative at the moment. But that's fine. I understand everyone's afraid of this, and that's fine. I'm willing to play my part in this, but it
James,
seems a
I
little.
respect your thoughts. I respect your research. You know, you got every right to say whatever you have researched or whatever you think. But to be
Mm,
very honest, with due respect, I have to I'm not agreed with whatever you said because how comes it can be all manipulated? How come this is all artificial? Because the whole world is suffering through. So what the world gonna get out of that? This is not real. What can be the advantage of it?
no, probably I don't know. It's hard to say in a small space of time, and possibly it's probably long-winded my response to that, but I I tend to think that our civil liberties are being taken away and I think this is an overreaction, to be quite honest. But I think if there were potentially sick people, they could isolate the sick people, and we don't necessarily need to like stop our life altogether for this. But that's my opinion. But
No, I
I
understand. I still respect your opinion, but
yeah,
have you heard about the saying that prevention is better than cure? So basically, the reason for advising the government to everyone to stay home and stay safe is because the government doesn't want us to get sick. Because
yeah,
this virus got no boundaries. It started from Wuhan, and you see where it is, what is going on now. It's all over the place, all over the world, unfortunately.
yeah. Well, I could send you some links to some information that I've received onto the contrary of that, but I understand that position. I think it's a
Can you
little.
speak a bit loudly for us, please? Thank you.
I
Yeah.
think that, to be honest, that it seems like the government cracked down on this stuff very quickly, and it seemed like a bit of a planned move, to be honest. But I can send you some links to some information that contradicts the mainstream narrative. But
Okay.
I can't
Looks like you
really
have done some
do
research on
much
it.
now because it would be a little bit too much for me to sort of expound upon at the moment.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, James, before the interview, we were talking about, and you mentioned something. There's some person or doctor in America who reckons all the deaths are happening are not due to coronavirus, so it's not going to be good idea to count them towards the coronavirus deaths, because people are dying through or because of other reasons as well.
Yeah, so basically what this doctor in America was saying was basically the test for coronavirus was flawed. It was never the coronavirus COVID-19 was never actually isolated in the PCR test, and it was never actually and the test was flawed. So essentially, anyone with a coronavirus, like a virus which is a cluster of viruses, was being tested, and essentially they were being so for COVID-19, and essentially the test for COVID-19 was testing for a coronavirus, which is essentially a lot of people have this genetic material in them, which is essentially just another name for a cluster of viruses. So the test is essentially flawed, and people that were being diagnosed for coronavirus were actually dying of pre-existing medical conditions that they already had, such as heart attacks, cancer.
So what you reckon the pre-medical conditions, and on pre-medical conditions, and on top of that, that coronavirus is hitting them as well? So you reckon the coronavirus is the reason as well, or only the pre-medical condition, nothing to do with the corona, COVID-19?
So what I believe is happening is they're manipulating the figures to just so basically a lot of these people are dying of their pre-existing medical conditions, i.e., heart problems, diabetes, cancer, etc. And because they're testing positive for this genetic material in this coronavirus test, which is essentially a flawed test, they're being diagnosed as COVID-19 victims. So essentially, I think what is running is a scare campaign.
But who's going to get the benefit of that scare campaign if it is a scare campaign, if it's not true, if it's all artificial? But what you reckon, who's going to get the benefit out of that? Who is the beneficiary?
Well, I think you look at what's happening around the world. Essentially, they're shutting down the economy, and they're shutting down small business and jobs around the world to make people dependent on the state. So I think essentially what it is a form of control to make people dependent on the state for money. So essentially what you've got around the world at the moment is millions and millions of people that are becoming unemployed, and what's happening is
But my
they're making.
friend, I got my argument over here. I still respect your opinion, your research, or whatever you think. It's a free world. You're allowed to think or say whatever you research or you thought. But what state gonna get out of that? The people who was getting unemployed, definitely there's an extra burden on the state. So I don't think so. States wants to have somebody to depend on them because it is costing them huge, huge money. So what the state gonna get out of that?
So what it is essentially is a form of control, because you're going to basically what's going to come in next is a vaccine for that virus that it doesn't exist. So essentially they're going to make a virus. They've made a virus, and they're going to essentially make a cure for that virus, and you're going to have to take the vaccine to get your welfare check, and that's essentially going to make you a slave to the system. So essentially, what you're going to be is you're going to have to do and say as the government wants to get your money. That's essentially what I believe that's happening with this.
Well, anyways, it's all good. So what are you doing all day? So this is the last question. Thank you so much for your time today. So my
And
last question is, how are you spending your whole day? What you do?
so it's pretty hard actually. Like basically, I get up, I do a bit of a weights workout. I've got some weights and a bench and stuff, and I do some weight training. Then
Are
I
you
go
losing
for
some weight, you reckon?
a
Anyways,
yeah.
go ahead, Mike. Okay. So what else you do?
I lift it, you put it on.
Come on.
And
You gotta be
so
careful because people are watching you, okay? So mind your language, bro. Go ahead, please.
so then I'd go for a walk, and I go to the supermarket, and then I do my study for my course, which I'm studying finance. And then after that, I cook and come back upstairs and watch a movie. So essentially, every day is the same, and it's very monotonous and boring. And I'm finding it's a little hard sometimes to cope with the monotony of everything. So I'm hoping that sooner or later these restrictions will lift, so I can sort of travel around and go get something to eat, go to the gym, see a little bit more.
No, was
Sort of,
Mike. Thank you so much for your time today. Really lovely
no
talking to
worries,
you.
mate.
And hopefully, this COVID-19 stuff is gonna be over, because not only
I
you,
hope
not
so.
only me, like the whole world is basically struggling at the moment. I
Yeah,
understand we are the free people. We don't want to be abandoned at home, but this is what it is. Hopefully, everything gonna works out well in the favor of the community, not only in your favor, not my favor. Anyways, James, you stay safe, right? And thank you so much once again for
okay.
your time. Bye.
Good
See you
to
next
talk to
time.
you, Khalid. See you, buddy. Have a good one. Bye.